The key takeaway is that you can accomplish all of your tasks in this manner. Don't distinguish between work and leisure. Do not pretend for a moment that you must be serious about anything you are doing. Instead, treat it as play. In our society, practically everyone genuinely feels that they should be more, this or that, smarter, kinder, or that something is wrong with them. Less human, less agitated, less nervous, more enlightened, and more disciplined. And so they keep chasing after some future version of themselves, never stopping until they eventually get it perfect. However, I would want to make the rather controversial suggestion that you are just well. What if I told you that everything about you, this specific moment, this breath, this peculiar and holy feeling of who you are, is already ideal? Morally, it's not flawless, perfect in the way a flame dances, a tree bends in the wind, or a galaxy rotates, yet not neat, polished, or well-behaved. You see, nature is a part of you, and you're not something separate from it. Nature is you. As natural as the sound of thunder, or the ripples in water, so too are the stars, the ocean, the clouds, your thoughts, your laughter, and your sadness. Additionally, there is nothing you need to do to merit your spot here. In actuality, each of you is already a unique phenomenon of the cosmos. That's just who you are, and that's sufficient. This is among the most astounding realizations. It is merely factual and not mystical or religious. This world is not where you came from. Like an apple tree, fruit, the universe, and people, you sprang from it as one of them. You're not a stranger lost in a strange country. This land, its gaze, its thoughts, you are it. It is pondering itself. Now the majority of us were raised to feel alone, as if we were little egos imprisoned inside these skin sacks, gazing out at a world that was over there, filled with things and other people. However, that is an illusion of language and labeling, a trick of perception. In actuality, there is no boundary between where you stop and where the world starts. Like a wave in the water, you are continuous with it. Examine a flame. Is there a limit to it? A set form? It's a procedure, an event, a current. You are too. You are a dynamic entity. You are actually a verb that is posing as a noun, a swirl of awareness, memories and feelings, all glistening like light on water. The universe didn't make a mistake when you were born. It wasn't attempting to put you to the test, make you better, or fix you. It was expressing who you were. And you are a strange, beautiful, complex expression. Nobody other can mimic your voice, or rhythm, your own rhythm of stillness and laughter. That isn't arbitrary. Like the symmetry of a snowflake, or the mayhem of a thunderstorm, it is design in its purest, most unplanned form. This is where the confusion arises, though. We were trained early on to suppress our naturalness in order to fit in, act, succeed, and become someone. By doing this, we started to believe the worst lie of all, that we are insufficient in some way, and that we should become, rather than just being. Have you ever witnessed a flower pushing to open, though? Have you ever noticed a tree growing quickly? They simply do it. They unfurl because that's what they are. You're unfolding too. Nature is expressing itself through you as well. Therefore, the call is to recall, not to struggle, to awaken to what has always been true, not simply in ideas or books, but in your breath and bones. You are not an issue that has to be resolved. You are not a task to be finished. You are a cosmic occurrence, as magnificent and unavoidable as the stars. So take another look, not with your eyes, but with your life. And maybe, just maybe, you'll begin to see what a wonder you've always been. I can now recognize the phrase, "There's nothing wrong with you." The mind is conditioned to resist. But what about my past, my shortcomings, my guilt, my habits, and my shame. However, all of that is also part of the process and the play. Misunderstood, but not incorrect. You see, we are given a story right from the start. It is a test to be alive. That you are here to prove something to yourself, your parents, society, and God. We therefore become into performers in a self-improvement theater, continuously repairing, modifying, and aiming, as though life weren't a mystery to dance, but a ladder to climb. However, what if the entire project was based on a fictitious assumption? Simply being alive is what life is all about. Everyone rushes around in a big frenzy, as if it were required to accomplish something greater than themselves, even if it is so obvious, easy, and plain. Let's give it a shot. Take a moment to close your eyes. Experience the feeling of being, the vitality that exists prior to the formation of any judgment or conclusion. You are that. Not the to-do list, not the schedule, not the inner critic. The simple, unfiltered presence of being present. What on earth could be wrong with that? Take a look at the clouds. They don't neatly line up with roadways. They float. They whirl. They both form and dissolve. Are they flawed in some way? Does no one chastise a wave for breaking so soon? Perhaps a tree for twisted growth. There is no cosmic scoreboard by which they are evaluated. However, we intuitively feel that we are the exception, that we must prove our own existence and merit our status. And this is the basic illusion, the source of our misery. In actuality, your flaws are textures, subtleties, and echoes of your unique melody, rather than errors. You are life, manifesting in human form, like water flowing or fire flickering, and you don't have to earn it. The perfection already includes your desire to better yourself and your efforts to become more spiritual. It resembles a sunbeam attempting to shine, or the ocean attempting to become wet. It's not essential. However, even that is permitted. So what if you just realized who you are, rather than striving for some idealized notion of who you should be? There's nothing wrong with you right now, without editing, without changing anything, without effort. It never was. Only the thought says so, and that thought isn't you. You are the space that observes it as it passes by, and the quiet that lies behind it. And something within of you relaxes once you realize this as a direct experience rather than a belief. And you start to recall something old and real in that room, in that letting go. You are the wild side of nature, expansive, incomplete, and exquisite. And that's exactly how you are. I don't mean to imply that you should sit still like a stone when I say that you don't have to do anything. Number. I mean something far more nuanced. Really, you don't have to work hard to be who you are. The river is not pushed by you. It floats with you. Because it's the river, not you, that's doing the flowing. In the same manner, you're the living embodiment of life. Birds don't sing to make a statement. It is in their nature to sing. Purpose and meaning don't have to be forced. When you stop attempting to create it, it comes out naturally, like a laugh, like a melody, or like a breeze. Action without effort, as the Taoists say, wu-wei, not indolence or indifference, but the skill of going with the flow instead of against it. And the dance starts when you find that rhythm, the one where you are living life rather than performing it. This is a strange little paradox. The majority of us strive to be who we are throughout our lives. However, you've already lost it the moment you attempt, the moment you grab for authenticity, like a product on a shelf, because you cannot understand the self. It is something you can unwind with. It's like trying to intentionally fall asleep when you try to be spontaneous. The effort itself stops it from happening. We're too busy questioning ourselves. Am I doing it? Have I recovered yet? Am I now genuine? Because we fail to find what we're searching for. It's similar like running around the room after your own shadow. Of course, the chase is perfectly acceptable. In some ways, it's cute. The ego constantly sands, refines, and spiritualizes itself in an attempt to make it shine like a stone. But after a while, you start to giggle because you see that the thing that has to be fixed is the one doing all the fixing. All of it is a little cosmic theater. You don't have to change who you are. Here you are, in your peculiarities, your imperfections, your quiet, your breath. There is no need to strive for authenticity. It's the remnant of your deception. That's what freedom is. Now, if we truly wish to delve a bit farther, we must examine something highly unusual. Your self-perception is not something you created. It was given to you, piece by piece, put together from looks, remarks, and expectations, like a mirror composed of other people's ideas. You have been told who you are since you were old enough to talk. What is appropriate? What's not? What does and does not garner love? As a result, you started molding yourself based on the mirrors around you, without even recognizing it. You turned into a patchwork personality, made out of ideals you collected from your parents, instructors, and faiths. Then one day, sometime in your 20s or later, you begin to feel exhausted, not physically, but existentially, as if you've been wearing someone else's clothes for a very long time. You have forgotten the sensation of your own skin. That's when it happens. That spark of disobedience, that feeling that the person you've been playing isn't the one who's truly living. Believing in your own role is the riskiest thing you can do. Since the role is acceptable, it's even helpful. It's not you, though. The role is being played by you. You are not the mask. You are the performer. However, society trains you to confuse the character with the costume. You forget that you're also a storm, a poetry, or a mystery as you transform into the good girl, the strong man, and the successful adult. Therefore, when someone says, "Be yourself," they usually intend to be the version of ourselves that we like best. However, that is still a performance, and not freedom. Seeing through the performance is the true challenge. Recognizing that it's only a costume is more important than destroying it or rebelling with clenched fists. Finally, you can remove it or wear it playfully, like a kid wearing a mask, once you recognize it for what it is. Because that's who you really are, below. The one who doesn't require greatness, who doesn't have to be good, wise, or sufficient, and who doesn't care about being liked. The quiet, watching, breathing vitality that underpinned all the tales was never interrupted and never required repair. It was just something to keep in mind. What's left then? What's left if you're not the voice in your brain, the roles you've been given, or the persona you've defended for years? Quiet. The kind of silence that lists the space in which all thoughts form and vanish, not the lack of sound. The motion's underlying calm. You see, adding nothing is not the point of awakening. It's not about developing your personality or earning spiritual merit badges. It involves unlearning and subtraction. When the stirring stops, you don't need to do anything to get clarity, like cleaning up a murky pond. All you do is let the mud settle. However, the majority of individuals fear that quiet, because the ego cannot speak when there is quiet, and it starts to fade away without sound. But your true character is concealed there. It's about the ease, not the effort. In the giving up, not the fighting. Thinking less is the key to discovering the self, the real self, not thinking more. By examining oneself with surprise, rather than condemnation, you start to sense it in that subtle noticing, a soft hum behind your chest, a space where the yearning to become at last goes away. and being pure, present, and unconditioned is all that remains. Without all of the grasping, correcting, and polishing, how can one live like this? Like the sky, that is. The sky doesn't cling to the clouds, doesn't chase the sun, or argue with the storm. It simply allows everything to flow through. You can also live that way if you quit holding on to your story so strongly. Don't edit yourself all the time. There's no need to always improve. Because everything feels a bit lighter when you realize that you are the sky and not the fleeting weather. You start to have more faith in life. You don't think you need to, not because you've worked everything out. Things have a rhythm, a timing that comes from the heart rather than the clock. You can actually hear it after you stop pushing so hard. And isn't it the irony? You start living the actual way when you quit making such a big effort to live the right way. Less control, more play, less proving, and more amazement. Because waves don't try to crash properly, and trees don't try to be trees. Both you and they simply are. Thus, let yourself to be lived. Allow life to unfold through you, unhindered. Because that is all you are, and that is more than sufficient. Therefore, we go back to the beginning, to that odd and amazing declaration. There is nothing wrong with you at all. Not as a consoling phrase, but as a radical freeing reality. You're not a damaged object that need repair. You're not a spiritual task that needs to be finished. Right now, you are a mystery being revealed, a ripple in eternity, a fleeting melody amid the vast silence. And you will see that you were never separate if you can view yourself correctly, not as a product of self-doubt or judgment, but as a natural phenomenon, like as fire, clouds, or galaxies. You were never too much. You were always sufficient. That's exactly how you were. Whole, yet not flawless. Complete, but not perfect. It's only a matter of remembering, letting go of the facade, taking a deep breath, and just being. Because you will discover that you have always been at home once you stop striving for a future version of yourself. Not in the approbation of others, or the world's definition of success, but in your own peaceful presence, in the sacred, basic reality that you are here. And that's more than sufficient.